well, you've been very good. We've been very good this evening. It's almost 25 past 8, 25 past 9, I beg your pardon. And nobody has yet mentioned Salman Rushdie. Will you say something about the fatwa?
Well, I already gave you the difference between Ayatollah Khomeini and his decisions and the rest of the Muslim world. So the fatwa which was made by Ayatollah Khomeini is not recognized as being legitimate by the mass of the Muslim world. Yeah. Ayatollah Khomeini, of course, we recognize that this was a political statement that he made. If he really wanted to remove Salman Rushdie, why would he broadcast it to the government ahead of time that we're going to eradicate this individual? They would just send some, people who are paid to get there and do him in and finish it. If you seriously, this is how people who operate in that level, that's how they operate. They don't give you a prior announcement, tell you we're coming.
Am I right? That there is an Islamic law as such.
So there's Sharia.
Actually, I'm asking for the justification for the fatwa. I have this book here, Muhammad al-Quran by Arasti Zakariya, which I think was issued by Penguin as a stop, because Penguin had just issued the satanic curses. And I think this was a stop by Penguin to calm the issue. And in there she tells us about the original satanic curses, way back in history. Have you said anything about that?
Well, there are no original satanic verses. There are narrations which, there was a period of time, well known, for one who studies the science of the collection of the traditions of the Prophet. There was a period of time when certain elements were in the process of breaking away from mainstream Islam, that they invented certain statements and attributed them back to the Prophet to justify some of their practices and decisions. And those so-called quote-unquote original satanic verses are among that body of what they call apocryphal literature.
To pick up actually what I think is Tom's question was part of, and that is, it is an impression that one gets that there is something in Islam which you haven't actually referred to at all, and that is some idea of law. That there is am I right? That there is an Islamic law as such.
Known as Sharia,
right.
General terms.
Now, the interesting question to my mind is this. If you take Christianity, for example, well, certainly it inherits some aspects of Judaism, and so you will find Christians using the Old Testament to argue for specific provisions in the law and so forth. But generally speaking, within the New Testament, as far as I know, there isn't a concept of a Christian law as such. There are Christian commandments, but there's no sort of requirement that if somebody breaks a commandment, he will suffer a particular punishment. Am I right that that is part of the Sharia, that in fact particular kinds of punishment, particular forms of state action against malefactors are actually required effectively by Scripture?
Yes.
So in fact, now this is one area where I find considerable difficulty, because if I take America, for example, America has various laws and various forms of punishment that I object to very strongly. But when I object to that, I feel I'm objecting to a secular state who has chosen to make certain provisions. I don't feel as if I'm adopting some kind of prejudiced attitude to a religion. Because, in a sense, there is no American religion. I can object to anything Americans doing without engaging myself in some kind of anti-religious position. But it does seem to me that it's very, very difficult, if I do object to certain forms of state action required by Islamic scripture, it does seem to me it's very difficult for me not to be anti-Islamic. Do you see what I mean? I'm almost forced to be. If I object to a particular kind of punishment, how can I not be anti-Islamic? Because all the Muslims tell me that that's Islam. So if I'm against it, I'm anti-Islamic. Isn't that a bit of a problem?
Well, I don't really see it as so much of a problem. I mean, for an individual to oppose or to disagree with some of the teachings or some of the practices, I mean, that doesn't necessarily make them anti the whole. They may disagree with some aspects of it. And, I mean, if somebody wants to label you as anti-Islamic, well, again, this is a personal label that you put out, So the issue of not agreeing with certain punishments, this is personal. You can have that. You have that choice to do that. I mean, where it becomes anti, where I would say anti, is where a person takes the position that this thing is evil. This is an evil religion, and we must stamp it out, and we have to, this is now your anti.
No, if I say that's an evil act, if I name a particular form of punishment and say, I consider that an evil act, does that make me anti-Islamic? If the act I'm objecting to is prescribed by religious law under Islam.
But, see, when you say anti-Islamic, what does anti-Islamic mean?
I'm asking you, see, the thing is,
we know about anti-Semitic, this is where the anti-Semitic.
Let me give you a parallel example.
I mean, if I disagree with some aspects of Christianity, am I called anti-Christian?
No, let me give you another parallel example with Judaism. Now, there are certain Jews who will tell you that they are required by their religion to occupy certain territories in Palestine, right, to build settlements on them, and so forth. Now, I might object to that very, very strongly. And I might say that if you tell me that you are required to do that by your religion, then I am anti your religion. Do you see the problem, the logical problem that's there? Once a religion becomes associated with specific state practices, or material practice like occupation of land, etc., once that happens, it does seem to me that you've moved out of the area in which one is simply talking about creeds, moralities, that kind of thing, the stuff of which religion is made, beliefs in God, etc. And you've moved into politics. That mixture of religion and politics seems to me an extremely dangerous one.
Well, of course, I mean, this is, people have held this point of view, probably a result of the Christian experience, the Rome and the Catholic Church, the mixture between the two, how it was shared and what came out of it. But Islam from the very beginning was that. There was no distinction when God revealed laws. He didn't reveal laws only for the spiritual side of life, but he revealed laws for the social interactions, the dealings, economics, the whole scope. The religion is a way of life. It is not a religion in the sense that, it is just a private set of beliefs that you hold, somebody else can hold another set, that everybody has their own personal private beliefs. It is a way of life. And as such, it governs the state. It provides the laws. And if, for example, there is something about the laws of Britain which I don't like, right? And I take it upon myself to speak out strongly against it, and I say in the end, if this is your laws, then I am anti-Britain. What's the difference between that statement and your statement?
That's fine. That's okay. There's no problem with that. Right? You can be anti-British. The problem is that where a religion actually associates itself in that way with not just a morality, not just a set of commandments, not just an ethic, but actually a law which is carried out by the police, it does seem to me you've entered another territory there, which is, and that is an area I think that in attempting to project Islamic awareness, that you must actually encounter problems quite often.